Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Guys, you would have heard last week Apostle Tracey-Ann sharing her own story. Listen, this woman talked about getting some leak. She talked about the fact that she was ministering in church. Well, before she got there, flip-flopping between church and outside because flesh a call, body a call. And these are some of the realities in church. But she also, guys, dived into when she got to that point where she recognized it's either God or not at all. And how God started walking her through I don't know if I should say the valley of the shadows, but she had to now learn to know God for herself. And so she would have shared how she would pray for others, she would bless others and go home to nothing. Can you identify? Well, this week, guys, we are about to go into some deeper stuff because this woman has passed through the valleys and is now climbing the mountains. And guys, we're about to share a little something. She don't know, so I'm going to ask her, but we have something sweet coming up. So stay tuned. We are about to dive into part 2 with Apostle Tracey-Ann.
Hey guys, it's Simone Stewart from Uniquely Me. Guess what? Our conference is coming up. It's going to be a virtual conference entitled Girl, Get Up, Take Up Your Bed and Walk, featuring Camille Coke, Donette DaCosta, Simone Howard, and our guest speaker, Reverend Clayton Roberts. Guys, mark your calendar. It's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be on YouTube. What do you do when you don't know what to do? Girl, get up, take up your bed and walk. Don't miss it. April 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is a virtual conference entitled Girl, Get Up, Take Up Your Bed and Walk. Uniquely Me is uniquely you. See you there.
Uniquely Me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals in the name of Christ. Uniquely Me is uniquely you. You can do anything. With the S on your chest, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You are a winner and you're an overcomer. You can be all things to Christ who gives you strength. Yeah, you are a fighter. You're so determined. Uniquely Me is uniquely you.
Welcome back, guys, to part 2 with Apostle Tracey-Ann. Apostle, it's getting, I don't know, it's just nice in here. And you remember when we just started, you said, oh, you're nervous. Make sure you're not nervous no more, don't you? And it feels like we've known each other for a very long time. But you know, that's what kingdom does, you know, that's what God does. When his people get together, there's a connection because he's in the midst. But I want us to begin to dig deeper now. So you have had to endure the hardships of life and have, if for want of a better word, as far as I see it, you are now an authority on some subjects. But I want to speak first. The person who, you know, the abuse and stuff, was that your husband?
No.
But you got married along the way.
Yes.
What happened? How did love come about? And, you know, I guess because we know you're divorced now.
Yes.
What happened?
Okay. So, I believe in fasting, praying, seeking God on everything. And so, I remember one Sunday we were at church and a bishop then he said, a lot of single people want to get married and, you know, like we don't have anything like to contact, you know, like he said, we want to buy a tie or something, just have something. And he said, give a time when you would want to. I didn't speak it out, you know, I spoke in my mind.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, God, because my life is about faith. And so I said, okay, God. But then, like I said, you're not really going nowhere, work home, resign. It's just church, you know. I said, I'm not going to meet anybody. I remember one Sunday my bishop said to me, I keep seeing this gentleman before me and he's your husband. I said, I do not know because I'm going to tell you something about me. Me always say me one tall and slim and dark and you know the whole works, you know. And so, but then when my bishop kept saying it and I said, who is this person? So he said, this is go to the Mount Silas New Testament Church of God. And then he said, this church brother is at the Clifton New Testament, which is on Manning's Road. And I said, I don't know anybody down there, so I don't know, but I'm trusting God. And so, one Sunday Bishop said, I keep forgetting. I said, what's the name of the person? He said, you'll have to go there to meet him. Oh man, no look man. You know? So, alright. And he found out the name and he told me, and I said, Lord Jesus. It's like one nervous when I walked in here. I said, alright, we go. But then when Bishop told me the name, because I walk in the fivefold ministry, so you'll tell me a name and I'll see an image. And so an image came, I said, but him short, can't you know? But I'm willing to do whatever God says. So if I have to put up with something, I'll do.
Yeah.
So I went this Sunday to meet this person. Some of my friends went with me because they want to say, oh, this now, you know. Because I've been waiting a while. Years, over 8 years I waited.
Yes.
We fast and we prayed. So then I went. I remember the name Bishop told me. So I saw the Bishop's son and I said, I look up here, old man, me saying, I said, God, I can't want old man yourself if you come in. Nothing can go to Jesus. And so I wrote the name on a little paper and I showed it. And the person said, oh, come and carry me. I said, no, don't carry me. I just want to see who the person. I pointed out the person and I remember I walked over and held on to his hand. And he was kind of confused, you know. And then I whispered and I told him whatever. So after church we spoke. It was very, because not everyone believes in the prophetic.
Yeah, yeah.
Not everyone embrace, you know.
So make we put this to context. Your bishop tell you, say him see your
Prophesied,
husband.
yes.
And prophesy your husband, and your husband named John Brown, and John Brown the over St. Catherine. And then you pick up yourself, gone to St. Catherine to go meet John Brown.
Yes.
Did John Brown get that word? Make we hear the story.
Oh, all right, we get in there. So at first, you know, he had some level of resistance. So he spoke also with the bishop. So one day I was home, exchanged number, and I said, listen, I force myself on no man. All right. I just want to know so I know God talk because I sought the face of God.
Yeah.
And so one day I'm home like the rain falling. No. I like it just to call him. And I said, however, I pick up the phone and I call him. And he said, why did you call me? This is how I want to know what God said to him. And I said, I really don't know why I call you. I just said the rain, felt like it. And he said to me, I need you to call your bishop and tell him I'm ready to accept. And I said, why? And he said, he was fixing a roof. And he said, he said to the Lord, if you are speaking, have her call me. I don't have any credit. You see that? So out of the blues, I don't know why I called. And I called.
Right.
And when he said that, I was like, God, you funny bad. I just felt this urge to call.
Right.
And so he said that convinced him because he knew God answered him.
Yeah.
And he said also one day he was on the road and he said, God, you know the temptation of, you know, women and, you know, want sin. God, with the husband, with the wife that you promised me. And he said immediately the phone rang. My bishop called him and said, I know who your wife is. He said he didn't say it like an hour. It was like a short time. And so he said he knew then that God was speaking.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we met, you know, I mean, we would pray for hours and I mean, everything was right.
Yeah.
And we got married. I mean, the whole excitement of engagement and, I mean, going into a marriage, I don't think anyone goes into a marriage for it not to last.
That's
I know
true.
I certainly went in there for it to last.
Right.
I went in with everything.
Right.
And we got married in June. But two things happened shortly before the wedding, and I was like, God, what's happening here? One, I remember I went to the hairdresser to braid my hair, and he was at the house, and I said, wait for me. They had some meeting at his church, and I wanted to be there. And I said, wait for me. You know, the hairdresser soon finished, and he didn't wait, he left. He said he's not turning back, and I was like,
Yeah.
what's that? However, I said, okay, I can put that aside. I don't want to be petty. And then the night before the wedding, I went to get my nails done, and I remember he came, and the lady weren't finished just yet. And so he had to wait like 5-10 minutes. So we got to the car. She said, sir, I'm so sorry. It's my fault, not hers. And he wouldn't, not having it with her. And then my son was in the car, and he started shouting.
Night
This
before
was
the
the
wedding.
night before the wedding. And he was just shouting and you know, and I'm tired. And I was like, okay, Jesus. And it was just, I was broken because for me, I have this thing that you don't shout at me in front of anyone.
Yeah.
And in front of the children, no, if we have a disagreement, we don't sort that out in front of the children or in front of anybody. And so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I didn't sleep that night.
The night before your wedding.
And I cried most night because I was saying, Lord, if this is what my life is going to be like, I don't want it. And so he called me like 5 a.m. The wedding was at 10. And when he called me, he said to me, I know you're mad with me. And I said to him, yes. And if this is how I'm going to live my life, I don't want any part of it. Let me know now. And he said, no, I was just tired.
And by this, you were in the pastoral, in a sense, or in the prophetic.
Yeah,
Well, but you were in ministry.
Yeah, man, because I was prophetess. Online, you would have seen me prophetess way years ago before. And so that was like that red flag at that time. And then, you know, he apologized. And I said, okay, then.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, things happen.
Right.
And then we went on the honeymoon. And then, can I be real?
Yes, sister.
Then honeymoon, you want to express yourself. You want to be you.
I want to have some good hot sex. Good hot sex. It's my honeymoon.
And you're going to tell me you're behaving as if it's medicine. You know how long you know get one good dose of medicine, you can tell me about the medicine. Number one. And then he was going, because he was married before.
Yeah.
You know, she died. Oh, you make too much noise. And you know, my first wife never used to make no noise. I said, Jesus.
Like, seriously?
Sit on me.
Yeah.
And I still, you know, because you want it to work.
Oh my God.
And then, yeah, there were good times. But then I realized the shouting.
It's coming on more and
more. I don't hide my money.
Yeah.
I don't believe in a marriage. You hide what you have.
Yeah.
So everything from me was out there. I don't hide nothing I have. I'll go and I'll shop for you and I'm going to spend to make our life better.
Right.
And then I would realize I can't say the house want to paint. You going to buy the paint? Are you going to do this? I remember 1 week my daughter didn't get any lunch money for her father, so he gave her lunch money. And the second week he said to me, what happened, my father don't send anything, it's 1 week, I give it for you now.
Whoa.
I said, okay, Jesus. All right. And I stopped and no ask after that.
Yeah.
And then it was never our home.
Yeah.
It was my room. As you see, I do the live. So one day, you know, everybody home and it's noisy. So I wanted to do it in the bedroom. And you know, if you project the camera a certain place, they'll only see the wall. Nobody would even know that
you're in the room.
It's a bedroom. They just see the wall. And he said, no, not in my room. So everything would be mine.
Yeah.
And then his mother lived there. And she would come in the kitchen. What are you doing in my kitchen? And I mean, I can't move a table unless I ask a question. And it's like your family opposed to my family. And I would say, we need to have devotion as a family. No, every time I have to sit down on their own bottom. And we have to have meetings to see, you know, what pleases who and what don't please who, and no meeting, and nothing like that would happen. And then he would say, we don't go out.
Yeah.
Before we got married, we went out. And then he said, I don't go on dates.
Seriously.
And then he would say, like my hair, I braid my hair. And he would say, I don't give woman money to the hairdresser. No, I'm in the public. I can't, I can't just wash my hair and use the cotton and something and oil it and plait it up. And that's not my image, and that's not how you met me. And so if you love me for me. And if you want my hair a particular way, you can spend the money too.
Yeah.
You don't give money, but then you're telling me. And so that became another issue.
Yeah.
The bedroom became a selfish thing in terms of one-sided.
Yeah.
And it just went from bad to worse. I mean, if I have something to say, we can't have a conversation. The door would slam or you walk out.
Yeah.
And I travel for ministry sometimes too, and that would be another argument because it's not ministry. I do outreach and you'll hear that is I look in attention, I don't want the likes. I remember I had one outreach and I said, can't you help me find a place to keep it? Oh, God didn't call me to that, is you He called. And so I'm left on my own with all of these things. I remember one day the stuff was on the veranda and he said, you might come back and set them in fire. I said, Jesus. And then he hid his bank book. My name is not in there. So I said, him say his money don't have anything to do with me. And then I started getting sick.
Yeah.
The headaches. 24 hours I wouldn't sleep.
Okay, you're stressed.
And I would keep going to the doctor, and by this time my blood sugar started going up. And the doctors were concerned. They were saying either you're going to get an aneurysm or something is going to happen, and we don't want to read about you.
Yeah.
I remember I went back to my former lead and I said, Rev, it's really not working. I don't know what to do. He said to me, get counseling.
Yeah.
Know that you've exhausted all the areas.
Right.
And he said, this much God said to tell you, good, better, best. He said, if at the end of the year things don't change, you'll have to make a decision, because it really got bad.
Yeah.
And I'd call, where are you? Why? What you want? You'll curse me out.
This is a man of God you're talking
Yeah,
about.
man,
you know?
church man, on the deacon board, sing on the choir, pray better than me and you. You can't pray like him.
Yeah.
Sing. And I put the breakfast on the table, and your breakfast is on the table. I didn't ask you.
Wow.
And it wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
Or he would come home and something is prepared. I don't want that. It's not that I want. And then his mother would prepare what he wants. And so one day I said to her, you are a part of the problem.
Yes.
And she give me her tongue.
That's fine.
He would go to the shop, buy a biscuit, and him and his mother eat it in the kitchen, and I'm there. I said, what are you talking about? Mommy, she going like something upon her to talk about. And these are the things. And the put down, I do a crusade for a week.
Yeah.
When I come in, he'd say, try know me, come first in this relationship. You know, I'm tired. So, in spite of how tired I am, I better go get something for him. And so I got to a place I didn't want to cook. I felt like I couldn't do anything at all.
Yeah.
Because you prepare something that's not what you want. And if it's good, you don't hear it's good. But if something is off, and it's said in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's your children, my children. The family never came together.
Right, right.
And yes, there came a time when both sides of the children got disrespectful.
Yeah.
One night he was shouting at me, and my son heard. And my son pulled the door and he said, if you slip, you slide, because they saw me being physically abused.
Right.
And I said to him, get out the room. And he came out, so they didn't have. And he came out. Because I had shared with him that I was physically abused.
Right.
And he came out in front of his mother and all the children. Because you picking them used to man and kick and box, so them think me are the same thing. I cried. And his daughter said, Daddy, you can't do that. It's about the truth.
Yes.
So it's like it was always a put down.
Right, right.
The headaches got so bad that if you just talk, I feel as if my head is about to open. On medication, left, right, center. I had to do a CT scan.
Yeah.
And I remember I started looking somewhere. I said, God, I can't live like this.
Yeah.
And I remember a young lady called me and she said, Auntie Tracy, the Lord tell me to pay your first month rent. I don't tell nobody I'm moving, going anywhere. And so I didn't take her, and I said, okay. And I searched and I said, God, I can't find anywhere. And somebody heard about where I am now, and she told me, I said, God, I don't even know the area. And I went to look at the place, and the man said, Monday. I said, coming Monday, I do have $1. A coming Monday. I'd exhausted my account, I had no money. You know, the fear that there's fear. Don't believe that because I'm in ministry, I didn't have fear. I had fear of going in the unknown.
And I want to ask you, in that, was there any point in time you said, Lord, I prayed about this, I asked you about this, you made man of God tell me to go. Did you go asking the Lord
I went to God.
Yeah.
My bad up God.
Yeah.
I said, me not understand. You spoke. I know you spoke.
Yeah.
I know this weren't a mistake. And he would send other people to say, you did not make a mistake. We did 1 year of counseling trying to save the marriage.
Yeah.
And in the middle of counseling, the bishop said to him, or to both of us, what are you both willing to change that the marriage work?
Yeah.
And he said nothing. And the bishop said, you waste my time. He said he's not willing to change anything. And I remember one night he said to me, I know I could come home and not see you one day, but I beg you for the love of God, only take what belongs to you. And like you would say, and when I don't know what you're doing in this room, because I mean to me, let me tell you, it got bad that if he touched my hand, I jump. That's how bad it was. The moment I'm like that. I remember one night my head was hurting me so badly, and I said to he said, I want to talk. I said, my head is hurting, can you please just wait? And he thought I fell asleep and pulled the pillow from under my head. And I felt the pain go down my back, right down. And I began to cry, and I said, God is going to pay you for everything that you have done to me.
Yeah.
And this happened twice. And I said, Lord, I remember one night I went home, and the moment I reached the living room, my neck got stiff. I said, what happened? I ended up at university hospital one morning because my hand was numb. And he kept saying, he would be like, you pray for much people and they get healing, and you just full of pain. And because a part of healing ministry, you're going to feel pain. You feel people pain. You just feel pain and no help for you. And when I went to university hospital, as a matter of fact, when I woke him up, he said to me, you have money? You can't go by the health center. I said, I'm not going by the health center. I'm going to the hospital with or without money. His mother weren't feeling well, and we had to sit there and wait for her to get ready, and he took both of us. So I had to find my own money. But God was so good that the Friday or the Saturday, a young lady came to me, and she said, the Lord said to give you this money. I never feel like spending the money. So I kept it, and that was the money I used to go to the doctor. So I said, God delivered me again. And like he would say, oh, I'm happy I get a wife that I don't have to buy clothes for, I don't have to do this for, I don't have to do that for.
You know what is worrying me, Apostle? I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, and I'm sure like so many women that are watching, you are saying to yourself, but she sounds like she talk about my life. like you're reminiscing and you're like, oh Jesus, why is she talking about me? And then I'm wondering to myself, am I being a real idiot? Because I'm sitting in a similar situation, and have I not been seeing the red flags?
Sometimes, all right, it's different when you're in the world and when you're in Christendom. Because in Christendom, we're expected to walk the word, live the word, not just be hearers, but doers of the word.
Yeah.
But there comes a time, my husband then thought that I should have been in leadership, he should have been in leadership, so that's going to be an issue. Though you make me in ministry as a leader.
Right. And
so that was a part of it that he couldn't deal with, because not every man can deal with a woman who, because let us get real, the man is the head.
Right.
But a lot of people use religion to feel like because the man is the head is to put down the woman.
That's not the case.
That's not the case. The man is the head to be priest, provider, protector. So the man is to lead the family in the way of God, to keep the family together, to be the main provider, not that the woman can't help. Right? Because the man the head, the woman the neck. So we work together. When he's stressed or whatever, you come in and you encourage and you do what you are supposed to do. But I didn't get that. I get the put down. I'll be doing a video. You see them, you don't know. Persons who know me would see my hand on the pen. If you watch anymore, you will see me doing this. Because I don't want to get angry on the video and anybody pick up. So I'll be doing this. But after the video, somebody who know me well would say, Rev, prophetess, what was happening? I see you channeling, all of that energy to the pen. You understand me? And so they would know that something would be wrong, because you would come in, it's my time now, video for done. And if God called two people together, it means that we're going to work together to give God glory. And even if God says two people are to be together, they need to do the work. It cannot work if they don't decide to do the work. It doesn't matter how much time you hear, thus saith the Lord. People have to work together.
So, Apostle, you got out of there. You've moved on. How many years now?
Just 2 years.
You've moved on. And ministry continues. But you are now you're now talking to persons, you're now educating your congregation. Because is it that you have a church for yourself?
Yes.
Right. So you are leading people. But I like the way, like I said, the stuff that I've seen, you're being very practical, very real. I remember there's one that you were talking about relationship and the whole matter of negotiation and control and the kind of thing. But I really want to talk about this particular where you said your tongue is either a blessing or a curse. What was that? What was the essence of that?
All right.
And I want to, well, go ahead first.
At that moment, I was going through the marriage being, and the words that would be used. And so many women leave home, go to church and put on a show.
You think?
I told him then, I said, you're a hypocrite. Sorry, I'm like that. I said, you're a hypocrite, you know. You can curse me out and go to church and sing on the choir, nothing wrong.
Lord Jesus.
I said, it's wrong.
Yeah.
That is it for me. A lot of women won't stand up because like they're saying, boy, him take me from country and him
but
carry me back a country. Let me take myself out of country. But I deserve to be treated with respect.
Yeah. Were there any points in there, Apostle, that when he decided to cuss you decided to cuss him back?
No.
Okay. Why?
No. Because at the end of the day, I can't allow who you are to be changed who I am.
Yeah.
And by this time, I learned how special I was.
Yeah.
Because the enemy will use anyone to break you.
Yeah.
And I was already broken for years.
Yes.
And so God has put me together and I cannot allow anyone to break me.
Yeah.
And I know if I didn't leave at that time, I would either be dead or mad. And so that was to break me. And so I remember the day I was home and praying and all of that, and the Lord said, I just heard it, is your tongue a blessing or a curse? And I said, what do you mean by that? So what comes out of some of us mouth? You can just leave church and you curse out somebody. The same mouth that the Bible said bitter and sweet can come from.
Yes.
Are you using your tongue to give God glory and to encourage someone, or are you killing somebody with your tongue?
Mighty God.
From the place of the pulpit too, who are you beating with your tongue?
Yes.
And so many leaders beat and murder people from the pulpit.
My God.
Oh, Jesus. And you murder them, that they sit in church and go home worse than how they came.
Yes.
So I'm talking from the pulpit to the pew. Is your tongue a blessing or a cursing? What are you building? Are you teaching young people that they can come up and say, I want to be like you, I want to emulate you?
Yeah.
I can come here today and I can bash who I want to bash. Who is it going to help?
Yeah.
So we have a choice. Are you going to be a blessing? Or are you going to use your tongue to kill somebody?
My God.
I've been hurt since I'm in ministry.
Yeah.
And when the opportunity came for me to meet with the people where I can call them out, Holy Spirit, to be silent. And that's why I say you have to be willing to do what God say.
Yeah.
And I say, you know what, God, your word says, vengeance is yours, you will repay.
Yeah.
You will vindicate me. And I be quiet. And people will say, oh, you're too soft. And I said, no, the battle is not mine. It's the Lord. So I live the word.
Yeah.
Of course, I could have answered my husband then. Who is it going to help? And this is the problem in marriages, that you're arguing, you have a disagreement. Why do you have to be toe to toe with each other? Somebody be big and just back off. It don't mean that you lose. It don't mean you're a fool. It means that you're using wisdom. And when the smoke clears, you say, you know, hon, I really never liked that. So that's how I can talk about relationship, because what I wanted out of the marriage I weren't getting. We did 1 year of counseling.
Yeah.
And I said, this is it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
So, Apostle, we're about to wrap up. And you are now
I know what you're going to do.
you are now engaged.
It's not easy to hide anything from me. And if you happen to come by Yard of Praise anytime, they will say it's hard for us to hide anything from Apostle. Just sometimes I know and I don't say. Because of the giftings on my life.
Yes.
No, and I've not said a word.
And that's okay.
Yes,
Because if you watch me long enough, you know I research, but also I'm very intuitive.
Yes.
You are now engaged. And my question is to you, what will you do differently in your marriage to come than you did in the one before? And bear in mind that these 2 episodes, your husband-to-be was so fortunate to be in the room when we were filming, and we'll get a chance to re-watch this. and so, I wonder, what are you expecting differently?
It's already different.
Okay.
It's already different. And I said to God the other day, why didn't you just give me this from the beginning? No. You know, you remember I used to call myself the black sheep.
Yeah.
Low self-esteem. And then you meet someone who cares zero where you've been. You meet someone who wants God just as much as you. And you meet someone who after, like I went to a funeral the other day and he was there with me and they called me to greet the church and you know, we had this eye contact and he kept looking at me like to say, I've got you. And we were going home and I said, how did you enjoy the service? And he said, I'm so proud of you. How many of us women just long to hear those words? He said, I'm proud of you. I didn't see your competition in that room. I have lived all my life to hear those words.
Yeah.
And he said, I look forward to hearing, to being, you know, in so many places with you and having these experiences. And he was like, your English was on point. And, and you know, these words build you and you want to become better.
Yeah.
And as he would say, he said, I want you to be better than me. I want you to be a better person than I am. And so when I look at it, I'm like, really, somebody out there, you know, like that, who from ministry and to take me here, he's coming, he's not complaining, I mean.
So he's there.
But he's there.
I want to ask you this question in light of something that we discussed earlier on, and this is mainly too for those watching. You're all set to get married, and the red flags show up. And the red flags show up the night before the wedding. A lot of us are not putting out the wedding because we're ashamed. We don't want nobody thinks about we don't know what we want. And it just look away to call off the wedding.
And it's God.
Yes, and it's God. And Pastor, when he said this on my husband, and how much prophetic word comes from my husband. I want to ask you, it's a twofold question. If you decide, if next month is the wedding, and this month, after we leave here today, you saw a red flag, or you see a red flag, or for those who are seeing the red flags, what do you say to them? Seriously, big and serious.
If there are red flags, slow down. Slow down. Some red flags can be dealt with.
Awesome.
In terms of, all of us have our shortcomings.
Yes.
Some things, I remember my friend told me that her daughter was to get married, and I think some sister of the sort moved in the house, and her daughter just go home and say, when you're ready to get married, I'm at my mother. Don't mean that they won't get married, it mean that you have some work to do.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. So depending on the red flag, you understand me? Work them out before you go any further.
Yeah.
And I've told him, I said to him, I go by what God said.
Yeah.
And if tomorrow morning God said no, then it's no.
Yeah.
If you understand that, do not ignore it to say, but, and what people are going to say. I've gotten to the place now where what people say, no, I have nothing to do with me. Because I've been criticized for being divorced.
Yeah.
How come a leader and all of this? But because I know God sanctioned it. God told me take off the ring.
Yeah.
Send somebody to say, I said the rain washing off the ring and God said newness. Meeting my husband to be was prophesied. I shunned the prophecy. I said, no more prophecy.
But you know, many persons are going to say that God went till he said the first one. You see, and so it is. How do we? And it's coming. You see, we're coming full circle. How do we know when God has
This
spoken?
is the scripture that comes to me as you speak.
Yeah.
That God meddles in the affairs of men. Is he concerned about us?
Yes.
Does he want us to be happy?
Yes.
Would he want you to remain in a situation where you're going to lose your life?
I don't think so.
And so how do we see God?
Yeah.
Because that have a lot to do with it, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of us see God and divorce from the eyes of religion. But do we really see it? And we go to the woman when everybody come in the bed of adultery. And enough of who sleep with her was right there.
No,
And them ready for stone her, don't they?
Yes.
But Jesus said, he that is without sin.
Cast the first stone. Hey.
And this is why, again, was it John who said, not everything is written.
Yes, God.
So if not everything is written, you don't believe God is going to talk to you about some things? Don't you believe he's going to instruct you? I will guide thee.
With mine eyes.
With mine eyes. So if God wants me to be his apostle, he's going to want me to be happy. And he said, you're going to live a full and a rich, fulfilling life. Now, in order to do that, is it that he wants me to stay in a marriage? When I get out there, I have dark circles under my eyes and I take off the weight and, what am I going to tell people about God?
But it's funny because some persons are going to say that we're scripturalizing to suit our circumstances.
Okay. What is your relationship with God?
Oh, Jesus.
What is God saying to you? Because some of us use the very scripture to beat each other.
You think a joke?
And that is why you can have a leader go on the pulpit and preach and go home go beat him wife. Because of him at the head and like there's an excuse. It's wrong. I mean, I keep no secret for no man who abuse him wife.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah.
It is wrong.
Yeah.
If I am fearfully and wonderfully made, treat me as such, and I treat you as such. And this is why we realize that it's not using the scripture to suit us, but we use religion and hold down ourselves. Now God talked to me and he talked to other people and said, get out of that.
Yeah.
You think I wanted to get out?
Yeah.
The day I move, I shake like leaf. Couldn't eat. I never knew what sleep felt like until like a week after I moved.
Wow.
Sleep. I never know what to smile about. Until one day I got dressed like I put on my gown to preach and the Holy Spirit said, you're beautiful. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit, yes, you. And there are those who will tell you that you can't wear your makeup and do whatever. And the Holy Spirit said to me, put on a little bit of your eyeliner. His voice is I hearing. I know his voice. He knew how I felt or belittled.
Yes.
And all of that. And so he tell me to fix yourself.
Yes.
So okay, Jesus, because he knew how low I was feeling.
My God.
You're telling me that God is not concerned? What kind of God is that?
Yeah.
What kind of God would want you to stay in something that is going to harm you when he wants the best for you?
Wow.
And so I say to people, pay attention to the red flags, right?
Yeah.
And as my husband to be would say, like he would say, I jump out a frying pan and jump in a fire and I don't know what this is, but I'm in it for the long haul. And I said, good. I mean, we're gonna work it together.
Yeah.
And so now, like before, we talk about everything. You plan marriage, you talk about everything. Now I'm secretive with it. I protect it because not everything you can put out there.
Hey, girl.
Some of us put too much out there.
Yeah.
So I protect him as he protect me.
Yeah.
You understand me? And so they may say, "Oh, I never hear about marriage before." I know you never did to know. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so we put too much out there.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, but this is what the Bible says. If him marry somebody else, we can tell them, say, listen, me know God and him sanction mine. Make sure him sanction yours. Because some of us want to run out of some relationships because you say, even have no money. Things get rough and you don't want to work it out. Yeah, despise humble beginnings.
Yes.
Or you see one nice six-pack out there and you feel like, say, up to date, fix him up.
Oh, come on, girl.
So the reason you want to run is what? So you can say, but me say apostle do it, so I can do it. No, go consult God and hear what he says.
Amen.
Because that is important. What is God saying? God told me.
Yeah.
He told other persons. And when I gave up on relationships, I was told again, you're going to meet somebody. And I said, no, I meet nobody. Why I gave him my number, I don't know. I didn't bring marriage to him, but he said, you know what? Who you are? Yeah, man, let's do this. Life is short.
Yeah.
And sometimes you meet someone for a long time and then they really want marriage.
Yeah.
You meet somebody a short time and they do for you and make you feel like you've known them a lifetime. And that is what I'm experiencing now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Somebody thinking of me first, putting me first,
Yes.
and really, really, really care.
Yeah.
Somebody loving the ministry
Yes.
and that I've asked God for.
Yes.
Somebody who pushed me to become better.
Yes.
That I've asked God for.
Yes.
And so when I see these things falling into place, nobody has to see it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Sorry.
See your vision, yes, girl.
Nobody else have to see, but I know my prayers over the years.
Yes.
Somebody who see my children as his.
Yes. Yes.
That I have longed for.
Yes.
So, because of what society is going to say, I should shy away from happiness.
Yeah.
Because some religious persons are going to come at me to say, oh, no. Oh, you hypocrite.
Lord Jesus.
And that Jesus called him. Whip them out of the temple. I'm just being real, you know. He said, you hypocrite. You have made my father's house a den of thief. Holy people, we make the ministry a thief. We are thief. Why? We do things to suit us and beat the little people who are trying to live for God.
Mighty God.
So I won't be invited to some place to minister because me too real. And that's okay.
Yeah.
God will make a way.
Yeah.
Too many hurting people in the church, both men and women. And if you watch the video, I did one on abuse, that even men get abused.
Yes.
And when I did that, men inbox me to tell me that they have been in abuse.
Yeah.
When I taught on relationship, and persons ask me, so you teach on relationship and your marriage no work. I say it takes two. It takes two.
Yeah.
And so you can know, but then it's like I'm preaching to the converted who, you know, I got to marriage seminar and he's not there and said, he know everything already. You could marry to 10 women or 10 men, they're all different. And you have to treat them different.
That's true.
They're not the same. You understand me? And so we have to become so real in Christendom.
Yeah.
I've had people come to me and say, because I didn't talk about the breakup, you know. And one day I'm in fasting and, you know, you're doing your thing and the Holy Spirit said, talk now. And I said, oh, Jesus, no. He said, no.
Yeah.
And when I spoke, many women reached out to me to say, thank you. You gave me the courage to talk about the abuse, to talk about the affairs, to talk about the children or the child.
Yeah. You know, Apostle, I'm listening to you, and because I've been privy, between on the stage and having friends in various places, and like I was saying to you off camera, that I used to think that church was a haven. And then I'm discovering that we have so many things happening in church. So many people not being real, so many situations, so many of our men of God that are in extramarital affairs. We've had one man on the stage already who has shared how abused he was and how he became an abuser and the whole works. And the cycle continues. But I do believe that we're in a phase right now where God is cleaning us up. Those of us who dare to be cleaned. Because there are some of us who are still walking around in our pumps and pride and our pretty suit and we don't want nobody to know. But I rather look good before God than be pretty before man, and I'm a hot mess before God. And so I want to thank you for coming and being so authentic and real. I share something with you. When I was trying to prepare, I do a little scripting, and I was trying to prepare, and I said, God, I don't know what to prepare. What am I going to talk to this lady about? And it's like the Lord there's sometimes He gives you this peace that you don't have anything on paper, but I got it all covered. And you and I did 2 episodes, and that was all God, because there are some things that He needed you to get out. And this program is never about me and my guests. It's about the many other people that God is reaching worldwide. Because this channel has gone viral in more ways than one. And I'm just watching what God is doing as women are identifying all over the place. And so as we wrap up, I want you, somehow it's just coming back to me again, that somebody's going through a storm that's watching.
That just came to me.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
somebody's storm, and I want you to minister to that person.
When that message came to me, that God is about to downgrade your storm, I felt like I was in many storms, not just one, but many storms. And so I want these persons or person to know that no storm lasts forever.
Come on.
And it doesn't matter the category of the storm.
Yeah.
And sometimes when some storm comes, it comes for you to see those who are for you and those who are not for you. And you must get to that place of being so uncomfortable, and then you will not rediscover the real you. When a storm comes, remember, and the song says, you'll find him in the eye of the storm. So in spite of how bad the storm is, he's there. And when the wind and the waves are tossing you, remember, he's still there. You're not keeping yourself, he's keeping you. And he has kept you to see this program, to see that I have weathered many storms. Still weathering some, but I'm still here.
Hallelujah.
I'm still here. And I'm still here only because of the grace of God. I'm not crazy only because of the grace of God. And I'm not dead only because of the grace of God. So I would encourage you to start worshiping in your storm.
Hallelujah.
Start trusting in your storm. When we hear a storm is coming physically, we prepare.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on.
Oh, God. We have to get our batteries and our water. Get your battery, which is the Holy Spirit. Get your water, which is the Holy Spirit. And you are not going to say, God, if you bring me to it, you're going to take me through it. And the fact that you are not, oh God, like today I said in church, I shall not die here. I decree and declare as an oracle of God that in spite of you going through your storm, you shall not die in that storm.
Hallelujah.
But you'll get a testimony in that storm that you're coming out of that storm. Lord Jesus, let me tell you what I just said a while ago. It's like you're in a storm. And you expect to come out looking like the storm beat you.
My God.
But instead of looking destroyed and being in the storm, you come out looking like a champion.
Hey.
So the storm did nothing to you than give you experience because you're not in the storm alone.
My God.
We get destroyed in the storm because we see us, but we don't see God.
My God.
And we can't keep ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't keep us. I can't keep me. Going into a second marriage, I can't make it work. I need God.
Yes.
And as I said, the scripture said, husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church. No man can love a woman like that unless God help them. Because when you get miserable and your mouth not nice, you got to ask God how to love this woman. You go and ask God, how do I love this person? And so you're in the storm. But you can find peace in the storm.
Hallelujah.
You're in the storm, and we're not disputing that you're in the storm. But maybe you're in the storm too for a reason. Because sometimes you're around persons who are using you and abusing you, and until God put you in a storm to identify that you're stronger than you think you are. You are more resilient than you think you are. And so you have to get to that place and know in your heart. And we come back to the faith thing.
Yes.
We walk by faith and not by sight. We see the storm, but close your eyes.
My
Oh,
God.
Jesus. You hear the wind. You hear the rain.
Yes.
You hear the zinc flying or whatever. You hear the trees breaking.
Yes.
But in the midst of that, close your eyes and see yourself stepping over every obstacle. See yourself that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, because you can't take yourself out of the storm.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so I was in the middle of a category 5 storm when I left that marriage. And in the middle of that storm, God said, start the ministry now. I'm not preaching anymore. I'm not prophesying no more. What are you talking about? He said, start now. I don't have anything to start. He said, say it over Facebook. About 10 chairs.
Yeah.
What you do in the storm is important.
Yes. My God.
Just as we prepare for a physical storm, we prepare for the spiritual storms.
Hallelujah.
The documents that are important, you put them aside. Your relationship is important with God in the storm. Make sure you feed that spiritual baby and you don't lose focus.
Yes.
of where you want to go. Yes, you're in a storm, but guess what? Sometimes the meteorologists say it's a category 5 and it's the hurricane, and the next morning you wake up, it downgrade to a category 1, or it now become a tropical depression, and it downgrade. And so too our spiritual storms, the abusive storm, the financial storm, the health storms that we go through. God is about to downgrade it, but are you patient enough to allow him to downgrade it?
Jesus.
So how we react in the storm is very important.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. God has to teach me how to love this person.
Yeah.
And not use what I've been through
To judge.
to judge him.
Yes. Yes.
And not to have the fear that I had before.
Yeah.
To say it's the same thing that's going to happen. And so I have to pack up my fears. I have to pack up that storm and say, Jesus, you just take it.
Hallelujah.
You take it. And so I encourage somebody. And it's not just women who is watching. There are men watching too, and men go through storms. And they have their fears. And they don't know how to deal with their emotions. And I am saying, just allow Jesus to just lead you, to just give it to him. If you have to cry, cry. Whatever you have to do, but give it to him, and he will take you through that storm. And you're going to smile again. The song said, though the rain is falling, the sun will shine again. It don't rain always. We heard the rain earlier. It's no rain now. So the storms don't last always.
Hallelujah.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And I say this and back to you. Before the Lord said you're on the most wanted list, like a gunman, I'm most wanted by the devil. And so when the year started, I'm like, okay, new year, I can relax a little bit. I won't go through so much warfare. And the first day of January 2022, the Lord sent somebody to remind me, remember, you are still the most wanted.
Mighty God.
I don't take a break. And that in itself is a storm. Ride out your storm, your morning is coming. Ride out your storm, your morning is coming. And even the videographer there, and he, ride out your storm.
Jesus.
They don't last always. And sometimes it gets so bad that sometimes we feel like this is it. I can't take anymore. The darkest hour, dawn is just inside. The thing is that we just give up before dawn comes. And so I just pray that none of us will give up before the dawn comes. The dark hour is there, but the light is there waiting.
My God.
No storm lasts forever.
My God.
And I can tell you, woman of God, to get ready for bigger things, to get ready for expansion, to get ready to not just do it in Jamaica, but to travel and to do your interviews. Just get ready and not put God in a box, and just to have a spirit of expectation that if God can take a broken girl like me, as I text last night, if God can take a broken girl like me, a teenage pregnancy girl, and turn her into an apostle, what did he see in me? But the song said, he saw the best in me. When everyone else around could only see the worst. I am not afraid to share my testimony because I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
And because I don't live there, no one can drag me back there. Because God has taken me out. Bask in the blessing of God. Bask in what he wants to do in your life. Whichever experience you have garnered, cherish them. Be them good or bad. Because one day, you will be sitting here and somebody will be interviewing you, and you're sharing your story, and it will encourage someone else to start something, to put them out there. So this is just the beginning for you. And you can tell your husband too. That he doesn't need to be discouraged, and he doesn't even need to worry himself, because God's got you both. And once God's got you, he will take care. Just don't get to that place where you have a meltdown and not trust God.
Yeah.
God has the final say. He has the final say in your life.
Yeah.
And He has the final say in your ministry. And my Bible says, whoever entertains a prophet receives a prophet's reward.
My God.
And so whatever I have in me, I have that authority, because the Bible said, I shall decree a thing and it shall be established.
Yeah.
And because I am here, it means that this is what God wanted. And so because you saw it fit to have me without meeting me before, I decree and declare that your territories and your borders shall be established.
Hallelujah.
That it shall be international, not just to your viewers, but that you will travel internationally, and that even your husband will be on board.
Jesus.
Where it won't be you, but it will be both of you, and it will be a partnership where it will be both of you doing this, because whatever finances need to come in, and I call forth your destiny helpers to come on board, that whatever is needed for expansion, that it will come, whether it be camera, whatever it is, that it will come.
Yeah. Yes,
I don't need to speak thus saith the Lord, because I have a prophetic mouth.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
And so we
Thank you,
speak,
Lord.
and things happen.
Yeah.
And I cover your vehicle, and I thank God for the new vehicle, and I thank Him that you walk in newness in this season. And that God will send exactly what you need, when you need, at the right time. Thank you for having me, and God bless you.
Thank you. What can I say? Oh God. Guys, you know that I'm never a woman without words. But I think this episode has had me without words, and Pastor, I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
I share something with you. I haven't shared it with persons yet, but this is the 4th year that the Lord told me to do a 21-day fast. And I didn't do it at the start of the year. I did it in February. I did it the 1st of February. My birthday is the 22nd of February. So I did it for 21 days, and I keep saying, this year in particular, I said to the Lord, I said, God, there's nothing I need except I need more of you. Yes, my list had stuff for uniquely me and, the ministry and that kind of thing, but it is, Lord, I want to know what you're saying. I want to hear what you're saying. I want to be in your will. Like, I have there's a desperate heart inside of me for what God is saying, where God is leading, and all I want to do is to be led by Him. All I want is the things of God. All I want is the purpose of God. I don't know if I can express it anymore. I am not looking for anything. All I want is more of Him. And I want this ministry that He has given to me to be about Him. And so I've said it, I've reminded Him so many times, never let me get too high that I forget you. No matter how viral this goes, no matter what happens, I want this to be about you. You must be glorified. You must be glorified, Lord. And so I am watching God. I'm expectant of what God has in store. And so I receive every word that you have shared, because I'm anticipating where God is taking me to. And like I've said this one thing to Him, and I say it almost every day, let the weight of your glory sit upon my shoulders, that my knees stay bent before you. That's my daily prayer to the Lord. And keep me humble, that I might walk before you softly. So that's my prayer. So thank you so much again for coming. You are a blessing.
Thank you.
And so I just want to declare, like I said to you, I said when I saw you out there, I said, Jesus, you're about to walk in here. And so I just want to bless you and bless your ministry, and that indeed your territories will be opened and be widened, I should say. That Jabez prayer, oh, that you would bless me indeed. And as I thought about that over and over, I realized that, oh, that you would bless me. And when we see that word bless, it's almost boundaryless or limitless. Oh, that He would bless you indeed. Oh, that you declared newness on me. I am declaring it right back on you. That you will walk in newness. That all the things your heart desires, as they line up with the will of the Lord, that He will indeed fulfill Himself in you and through you, and that your life will be a light A beacon. You will be a beacon to many. And that your husband to be, my God, I pray that the hand of the Lord will rest on him.
Amen.
That his entire body, oh my God, I pray over his body right now that he will be well, that he will be sturdy, that he will have what the vital vigor and vitality to support you in that which God has called you to.
Amen.
Remain humble, continue to be humble. I bless you. I pray over your cupboards that they'll not be empty.
Amen.
God, I see what you're doing on camera. That your baskets, it will never be empty. Your cupboards will never be empty. Your vats will run over. New oil, new wine. My God. Ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? This is how the Spirit of the Lord works. I can never get used to this, but I can tell you that I'd rather be patient with God. And I know that there are many of you that are still watching, yes, and praying. So thanks for tuning in, and I'd definitely love to hear from you. What part of this episode ministered to you the most? Please let us know. Alright guys, so stay tuned, and remember our conference coming up April 16th. We're looking forward to seeing you. The Lord bless you. Thanks again. See you next week.
Uniquely me is uniquely you.
Hi guys, I thought I would share with you, for those of you looking for a Christmas gift or a New Year gift or a birthday gift, for that woman, that strong woman in your life, to offer the Uniquely Me Planner. Now, what can you find in the Uniquely Me Planner? You can find pages to write for each month. You have pages to write your goals, and we set it up so that those goals are SMART, right? As you know, your goals need to be SMART. So we have the specific, the measurable, the attainable, the relevant, and we put them in blocks so that you are able to fill them in accordingly. Also, you will find a daily to-do list, as well as for each day, if you need to put your calendar, what your calendar items will be, you have that as well. There's also a habit tracker, guys, or as well as a quote. There is a list for you to put what are your list of priorities in terms of things to be done. And of course, guys, we have pages and pages of that. We give you blank pages as well. So this is also, it is your diary, it's your planner, it's your time management tool is what I would call it. I want to encourage women who are creatives, women who are executives out there as well. You are trying to find a way to be productive. Here is your tool. And so guys, it's on Amazon. Just put in Uniquely Me Planner, or you can put in Simone Stewart and grab a copy of my Uniquely Me Planner. Guys, remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you. Get your copy today.
And uniquely me is uniquely you.
Who am I really? Choices, choices, choices. In pursuit of a career? OMG, I'm a wife. Help, I am a mother. Oh, I'm in church. When do I get to be a woman that God called me to be? Uniquely Me covers the acrobatic endeavors of every woman to balance the responsibilities of being a mother, a wife, a professional, a church leader, a friend, yet still maintain her identity. I too am a mother, a wife, a trained minister of religion, a banker, an entrepreneur trying to balance the many hats that signifies my role. My book will help motivate and empower every woman who is really unique in her own way. Grab your copy today on Amazon, because Uniquely Me is uniquely you.
Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you.